Hello, Internet. How is everyone doing tonight? How are you guys doing? Pretty good?
All right.
Ready for some more D&D and all the things?
Always.
Nah, it's okay. We'll go.
Okay, well, all right. I mean, we could play something else. I mean, we could,
Right,
yeah, grab some video games, that kind of thing.
right. Chess.
Chess, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a buddy who does chess on a weekly on his channel. It's really kind of hilarious.
Yeah, is that mains or?
Yep, Shadow Mains. He does chess stuff. It's actually kind of fun. But yeah, all the things. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Saturday night with our D&D crew for Challenge Accepted. We are one player short tonight because, hey, it's his anniversary, and as any of us know, when it's anniversary time, you do everything in your power not to piss off your significant other. So we wish him the best. And we know he's playing with us in spirit, and we will hopefully see him next week.
Then he's our healer.
That's okay. I think I can handle that. I mean, one of the things I love about the Way of the Mercy Monk is the fact, some people hit you to cause damage. She hits you to heal you. So, hey, it can't be all bad.
Get it together, man.
Yeah, I'll hit this person to the left, and then I'll hit you on the right, and, I'll hurt one and heal the other. It's great. Alrighty, so, yeah, apologies this morning. We did not have a Shadow Watch game. That was because one of our cast member has a family member whose birthday it is today, so he was doing the fatherly thing and doing the birthday, so wish that the best. And the rest of the party was like, you know what? We're about to infiltrate a drow compound, so we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait a week and then get everybody together. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Titus. It'll be fine. It'll be a cakewalk.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
Easy there, Fireball.
That could totally happen. That could totally happen. Anyways, I want to do a couple of quick shout outs, pay the bills, that kind of thing. First off, a shout out to Stream Beats, which we're listening to right now. There's DRM free music that you can play on your streams and videos. Check it out, streambeats.com for more information. As we flip around to Sirenscape. Sirenscape's our main one we use for all our D&D games. It's a platform you can use for your tabletop experience. It gives you all kinds of background sounds for various things. Go check out Sirenscape.com for more information and check out their online player, as well as their downloadable player. All the things, all the devices, all the times. Yeah, Stream Elements is a little slow. We understand. Anyway, so and tomorrow morning, other shows we got going on Sunday mornings at noon Eastern over here on our YouTube. We have Sunday with Scoob, where I paint minis and chat with friends, whether they be people in the chat, members of the studio, cast members if they're free and they want to get up that early in the morning. I understand time zones and things. I get it. But it's an open thing where we can just kind of chat about whatever, whether it's post-game, other things that kind of on random, maybe even talk about some movies. I know the season finale of Winter Soldier and the Falcon dropped on Friday. Loads of fun there if you haven't watched it. Also, the new Mortal Kombat movie dropped on HBO Max and in theaters if you haven't checked that out. A lot of fun. Which leads into Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern is Scuba and the Rye, where my buddy Rye and I, we talk about games, movies, video, all the things. So check us out 9 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel. And of course, Saturdays is the big D&D day. Shadow Watch at 1 p.m. Eastern. Challenge Accepted 8 p.m. Eastern, which we're doing right now. So yeah, it's all the things. So if you're liking the video and liking the content we're doing, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you can be notified when future videos are released. And oh yeah, I didn't talk about this last time, but you, the viewer, if you're here live, watching us live, you can affect the stream. In the description below is a list of things you can do for viewer interactions, which can be quite entertaining depending on when they come, what happens in the adventure. So please feel free. There's a link in the description. Click on that, and let's see what you tricksters can do to affect the stream. There's all kinds of weird things. I know Wild Magic is a fan favorite. Can't deny that. Never know what's going to go wrong. I mean, right? I mean, yeah, the things.
That's right.
So, that being said, that covers all my announcements and my rambling on. So let's, if there's nothing else, let's get into our recap and then see what happens. Recapping in, the party had arrived in this town of Saltmarsh, which is a nice little port town on the over here on the western coast of one of the continents in Kafun. They arrived, they spent the first night in the Wicker Goat, met some interesting characters, some information. One of the party members had left the party to pursue a search of her own. And as the party was gathering their information from the twins, Josie and I had their names and I lost it. Oh, gotta remember their name. There we go. Let's see. It was the twins. Josie and Lois. Josie and Lois, the twin Vistani women who were hanging out at the Wicker Goat as well. Some interesting interactions with them, and then as the party left the Wicker Goat, they met up with another individual, a rather large statured individual, Gorr, who was doing some practicing across the way at the barracks, and decided to join the party as they went to visit with Ministrad Copperlocks, the dwarven leader of the nearby dwarven mine that was set up recently, and she had hired the party to kind of run as run kind of a security detail. Recent mine shaft that they were working on had been attacked by some Duergar, so she wanted a little extra muscle to prevent any future attack while they got supplies together. Party hung out in the mine. They did encounter some Duergar. Managed to take care of them in some short order with some rather creative spells and usages. And then afterwards, Ministrad paid the party for their service, allowed them to take any items off of the Duergar before the dwarves unceremoniously took care of the bodies. And then Ministrad took them all back to the Wicker Goat, bought them a round of drinks. They spent the night drinking and swapping stories and having a good time. During the course of the night, Ministrad told them that the town council would like to speak with them on a couple of matters. So the following morning, everyone is waking up, grabbing their breakfast in the Wicker Goat, getting ready to kind of head into the town proper, to the main city council building to speak with the council. So this is where we'll come in, where the morning is yours. How do you guys want to spend your morning? We will start with Gorr. How is Gorr going to start his morning?
That's about right.
So, yeah, that was interesting. Never heard such crying in my life. This ends weird. I'm used to being across the street and just watching, but being over here and hearing all the cry, I don't know what all the crying was about. Someone was crying. That was really annoying. Oh, there it is again. Anyway, I need to get something to eat for my third breakfast today, so I'll go down the hallway and pound on a couple doors and see if I can pick the right one, because I have low intelligence and I have no idea which ones are theirs.
Go ahead and roll a history check. Remember if they told you what room they were staying in.
6.
So Titus and Nin, as you guys are in your room, you hear down the hall this loud kind of
Hey. You guys awake? Guess not.
So he goes down to the goes down to the next door, kind of pounds on it. It's a little bit closer.
Hey, guys awake?
Nin is not actually in the room. He went down earlier.
So Nin is downstairs in the common room.
Well, he's downstairs.
All right. What about Titus? Is Titus still in the room?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
So hearing this, Titus is getting ready. He's standing up. He's putting on his armor, strapping everything down, getting a sword ready, shield ready for the day, and just timing it, waiting for him to get to the next, get to his door.
All right. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay. Perception. 8.
Oh, we're going good this morning, aren't we?
So, as Gorr moves down to your door, you try and time it, but you don't quite time it right. And as you open the door, his fist is coming down and stopping just in front of your head.
Hey! Oh, you're up. I almost got you.
Yeah.
You're quick. You want to get something to eat?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
We're
come on,
good.
buddy. All right, come on, buddy.
All
You
right,
want a piggyback ride?
We're good.
All right.
Lead on.
As you guys are heading downstairs, Nin, what are you doing?
Nin is outside of the inn on the front stoop or whatever might be there. And he's sitting there playing with a water puddle and some soil, kind of building something small, but building something completely oblivious to everything else.
Okay. Karalee would have been doing her morning forms, and then she's kind of sitting there having some food and just kind of being quiet as she sees Gorr and Titus come down the stairs because she's already done her morning forms. So you guys see at the table she's sitting at a nice breakfast spread. The innkeeper is well aware of Gorr and his time because the barracks was right across the street. So used to having a good spread of food, meat, all your breakfast essentials, big slabs of meat and eggs, breakfast beers, all those stuff.
Hey. Thanks. Nom 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 nom.
Gorr, forgive my impertinence, maybe is the word. But is all of that for you? Okay, yeah, it is.
I mean, this part of the table. I mean, this left part.
But okay, there's nothing on the right part of the table. Is what I'm saying. Is
well, whenever I put my arm out and just shunked it over, there's nothing on the right side, but I'm sure they can make something else, right?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. See, they'll do something for you.
yeah, a single plate will do. Thank you.
So the one of the servers comes over and puts down a fairly decent plate of all the similar, not in quite as much quantity as what Gorr is going through, but enough to fill you up.
All right.
I mean, as I was told, I was a growing boy, whatever that means. So I don't like to share food. That's just a thing. So, what you got there?
Just a little snack. Just it's a starter meal. It's a starter meal. Yeah,
Yeah,
starter. You know, you got to work up to it. You know,
Yeah.
you got to learn to crawl, and then you can walk, and then you could devour an entire table.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't eat tables. I mean, not yet. I mean, maybe with a little beer on top of it, soften it up some. But, you know, you make do is what I'm trying to say. Roughage, I think. But, what are we doing today? We're talking to some fancy people or something? The council or whatever? I mean, they give me money, Yeah, I'm good with that. I hear commands and, go and march, whatever. I just never met them.
yeah, yes, that is the plan. One task at a time. Let's see what we can do about this food on the table, and then we'll talk about meeting with the council.
I mean, I'm already done, so I don't know what you're lollygagging about.
Apologies again. I'll get right on that. And he just chowing down.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. You got some right there. It never gets old. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You got a little blood there. Sorry, man. Sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean to pop you there. I thought I was just gonna
like
boop you.
bits of egg like all over my beard. Just full of my beard. Well, I guess got to work on my aim, Gorr.
Yeah. I mean, when you shovel, it's best to get underneath and apply. I mean, if you just start just woofing, I mean, you're just going to go everywhere. But, you got to get and shovel properly. I mean, I'll help you. But it's a lesson for another day.
Can I see if I hear this going on?
Sure can. Roll a perception.
All right, it's not going to be good, but. Oh, that's a 14. That's better than I expected.
You're not sure the particulars, but you do get a sense that Gorr and Titus have come down the stairs by some of the way Gorr is talking, because not very subtle in his conversation. So you could totally hear him, and it's just enough to where it registers, but you tell me whether or not it's enough to draw you out of your focus on your current building project.
Not really, but he's going to be molding this thing with his hand, and then he's going to turn and look in the inside door and hopefully see Gorr, and he's going to minor illusion a turkey leg.
Okay.
Next to all the other things he's eating. And when he goes to eat it, he's going to move it.
Yep. So, Gorr, you see a turkey leg, a nice, big, plump
Juicy.
turkey leg seem to appear on one of your empty plates. You almost think, it's like, wait a minute. I don't remember turkey on this, but I also don't remember leaving any food left. What do you do?
I don't know.
Didn't you say you finished?
I did. I don't know where this comes from, and it doesn't smell like anything. And I smell food. I know what food smells like. It doesn't smell like anything. Huh.
And if he goes for it, I'm going to move it just out of his reach.
Huh.
It lasts a minute.
Meanwhile, Titus is finishing his meager meal. what didn't end up on his face.
Gorr, if you want, go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, horrible. 10.
If it's
Your
up
DC,
against
your spell save
mine,
DC, Nin?
it's 15.
Nope. As far as you can tell, it looks. Aside from the smell part, it looks like a full turkey leg. But with all the other smells in the tavern right now, it's really not sure. You can really you can tell that there's turkey leg there, but the fact that it has a lack of smell doesn't seem to really phase you.
Okay, it moves out of your way.
Damn it. I knew something was up with that. Now it's dancing.
Jump down under the chair.
I'm not going to go chasing after food.
I
know better than that.
Gorr, I know you like your food fresh, but isn't this pushing it a little bit?
It is.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea.
Okay.
Does Gorr see or know where my little magic friend is at?
Roll an investigation. Are you trying to actively look for him or just kind of passively look?
Actively.
Then roll an investigation.
13.
You can't quite see Nin. But there's a chance he can see you.
I take one of the plates and I aim for the door and I just hurl it.
Okay.
And yell, "Stop it, magic boy!"
The
Go ahead and roll a ranged attack
with 3/4 cover.
Well, technically the door is mostly shut, so it's less about actually hitting you, but something else.
Yeah.
How would I even roll? 14.
You hit the door.
Yeah.
And Nin, you with your watching it, you're kind of watching through the crack in the door, and you can kind of see, and then you see Gorr kind of pick this plate up and just toss it like a frisbee, and it hits the door with a thud.
And then I set off the illusion. Discontinue the illusion. I make one more that goes as the turkey leg disappears.
I'm not too sure about this food.
Titus, roll a wisdom saving throw.
Uh, 18.
You knew from the get-go it was an illusion.
Yeah.
I guess I should have made it a whole turkey. But then he goes back to molding his earth, whatever he's doing.
I go over to the innkeeper. I'm sorry about the mess. And when I mean mess, like that. And here's do I owe you anything?
No, I'll just charge the garrison like I always do for their meals.
Charge
Time
them
guard will
double.
cover it, so you're good.
Okay. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. All right, cool. Yeah. Cool.
You didn't damage anything this time, so I'm not going to charge you for damages, but, you know, food's covered.
Must have been one tough plate.
That was kind of more of a glancing.
Oh,
It's kind of like it hit, but it wasn't enough to like leave an impression. Now, if he had rolled higher, or God forbid, a natural 20 on that, there might have been some breakage.
oh, I got hit by shrapnel.
Because he's talking about in this time period, most plates are made out of metal or carved out of wood. So good chance maybe a window broke. Who knows?
All right, Titus, you ready to go? I mean,
Yeah, let's get ready to go and see if we can't find you call him Magic Boy. Let's see if he's ready to get out of here as well.
All right. So, you guys finish your meal. Step outside. And as you open the door, you see Nin sitting on the front stoop, just kind of playing with some mud. Nin, what are you building?
I point to the stairwell where I have an already created form. I don't look at them or do anything. I just point and go back to building my thing. And it looks like it's a small square of mud on top of which is a slightly smaller square of mud on top of which is a slightly smaller square of mud on top of which is another slightly smaller square of mud. So it's like a ziggurat.
Okay.
Very small one.
Very, very small little square on square on square on square on square.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I go back to playing with the mud. Building
Nin,
another one probably.
Nin, are you building a summer home? What are you doing?
Oh, Titus, it's you.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yeah, good.
How are you
morning.
today, my friend?
Oh, just having breakfast, not the turkey, but
I say so.
the
What?
other food.
You had the turkey? I hear it's
No.
really good here.
No, there was something funny about it.
Yeah.
Had a little life of its own, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What did you think of the food there, Gorr?
it moved.
I figured that. Is that a problem for you?
Depends on how fast Magic Man likes to move.
Oh. I don't know about the Magic Man, but I can move pretty fast if I have to.
All right.
Are we supposed to go somewhere today, Titus? Is that why you're out here this early? It's early, isn't it?
It's early enough. Why don't you get cleaned up there? We don't want to look a mess if we're going to see the council.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes, that's loads better. Very good. Very good.
How do I look?
Like yourself.
Excellent. But remember, my name is Nina Specta, but just call me Specta.
Okay. Yes, I will absolutely not remember that. But let's get on the way.
All right, Specta. Remember that, Gorr.
Yeah.
Specta,
All right, Magic Man.
like the Inspector,
Yeah.
but without the IN and without the N,
Right.
without the whole my real name anyway.
Yeah. Got it.
No.
I expect to be traveling now.
Yeah, you guys are walking from the Wicker Goat. You pass a couple of buildings, you come up to the main to the large bridge where you saw before. You can hear further south the sounds of the fish market and all of them getting themselves ready. cross the bridge and head toward. You see the snapping line, and then you see, and next to it is the larger building that Gorr, you know, that's where the council typically meets. Karalee kind of agrees with that, and as you guys kind of step up, one of the city watch who's kind of hanging out there kind of ushers you in, and you step into kind of like this large kind of meeting room, and then seated at the at the table at a couple of tables is a group of individuals. At the center of the table, you see a human female. She's standing there, and given her position, she looks like she is one of authority. Her name is Edda Owland. To her left is a human male. He's got a very neatly trimmed beard. He's got just that kind of, oozing, kind of that presence of like fine clothes and whatnot. He is Gallon Primwater. To Edda's right is a human male. Gorr, you recognize him immediately. This is Elander Fireblorn. He is the captain of the town guard, City Watch. Then to his right, you see Ministrad sitting there. She doesn't look like she's very. She has a fairly positive demeanor, but you could also kind of get the sense that maybe she might be just a little slightly hungover from last night's drinking competitions. And then over to the left of Gallon, you see a rather young-looking man. He is Anders Solmore. Looking at everyone else, he is the youngest. He looks like he's probably just some 20-something sitting there on the council compared to the others who look like they're like in their 30s, 40s. Eldar looks like he's in his 50s. It's hard to tell with dwarves because they live for a couple of centuries without batting an eye. So they're all kind of there there and greet you as they come in. And after you kind of there, Edda says, welcome. Ministrad says you guys helped her out with the mines yesterday.
That we did.
Wasn't too much trouble, was it?
We handle ourselves just fine.
Excellent. He greets his Gorr. Looks over to Karalee, and Karalee, it's good to see you again. Yeah, glad you found a way back into our wonderful little town. I haven't caught your names yet. And who are you? As she motions to Nin and Titus.
I am Titus Lightbearer, Paladin, traveler with this group here with Karalee.
Elander kind of gives you a nod as you introduce yourself, a sign of respect.
And please, you'll have to forgive me. I prestidigitate my clothes. I was spattered by a passing horse. My name is Nin. Nin Spectre. I'm also a traveler with this party, seeking to do right in the world and making things a better place. I understand our friend Karalee here had helped you before in that, so I hope her credentials support our own. Thank you.
Well, hopes to be seen. Yes, Karalee, the last group Karalee was with, did help us manage to break up a rather nefarious group that had been smuggling goods to and from stealing quite a few wares from some of our merchants. It was a rather nasty bit of business. Primwater sits there and says, yes, very nasty bit of business. Glad that was all cleared up.
And you're no longer having problems with smugglers, I take it?
No, not that we're aware of just yet. Or if there are any more, hasn't been any indication there's been any stealing or thievery of any type. However, were a couple of details from that whole smuggler business that have us a little uneasy and a little on edge.
How so?
And hopefully all of you can help us out.
If it's bringing things to the light, I'll be glad to offer my assistance, but it's not my decision alone. We travel together and we work together.
Yes, isn't that what Karalee said, that no one was prosecuted for the smuggling, that the 2 witnesses
Yes,
died?
the few sailors of that particular vessel who were being held to stand trial apparently died under mysterious circumstances. We're still investigating, but unfortunately, it seems the trail has gone cold.
Can I insight check him? This is Primrose, right?
This was Edda who was talking.
Oh,
Primrose is
okay. Then
sitting
never
there very
mind.
quiet. But if you want to insight him on his reactions, go ahead and roll that insight check.
I definitely do.
Okay. On his reaction.
Come on, +5.
Nope.
Yeah, 12 for me.
7 for me. I'm not very insightful.
Now he appears to be quite
Comfortable.
quite disinterested in this whole business about the accusations. As far as he's concerned, it's over. It's done with. He does not want visiting it.
While we wait, I nudge Titus in the shoulder and open up one of my packs. And inside you see some peeled dried carrots. I'm like, that's all.
I'm glad you're prepared, friend. Well, what is it that you brought us here for? Edda, you said your name was?
This is Edda, who's the chair, pretty much the head of the city council. And it's like, yes. Heard you guys, based on Miss Copperlock's recounting of your latest exploits and a previous experience with Karalee's with Karalee's previous experience here, we figured you guys would be most helpful in a matter of some delicacy and some urgency. She goes into explaining that recently there have been a large sighting of lizardfolk, increased sightings of lizardfolk in the nearby mire. They're normally much further away, but the fact that we're seeing that they're closer to the town has them somewhat concerned. There's this. She also goes to tell you is like, when we took possession of the ship that was being used for the smuggling, there was some bodies of some lizard folk on board. Not really sure what they were doing there per se, but we also found there was in searching the ship shortly afterwards, we found that there was a stockpile of weapons aboard in a secret compartment. We also found that they had a prisoner, a sea elf, name of Oceanus, who we released him. He wasn't sure how long he had been with them, but he had noticed the ship's passing back and forth and went to investigate. And when he was there, he saw the weapons being loaded aboard. And then shortly after that, he was captured. He wasn't sure how long he was captured, but after helping us with that information, he returned back to his tribe. So we have not seen or heard from him since.
And you
But
said that the lizard men, they were dead bodies, or they were alive?
Karalee kind of nods and tells you, yeah, when they were aboard, one of they stormed into a cabin and one of their party members was killed by them, and then they and lizard folk fought, and then they had inadvertently killed the lizard folk. That were 3 of them that were aboard.
So it was accidental almost.
Yeah, self-defense.
What was the name of the ship?
The ship was named the Sea Ghost. It's actually still moored at Saltmarsh. Apparently, it was being held post the investigation and recently was sold to an unknown party.
Hmm.
So right now it's just sitting in the docks, waiting for a new crew to arrive to take possession.
And that's not suspicious in the least to you?
It was a stolen ship. We took it as part of when they brought it in, and it's just a normal passing of it. Grimwater actually kind of bristles a little bit because he's a little upset that, and you kind of and he kind of complains about the fact that it was sold, and he was outbid on purchasing the ship to add to his fleet.
And no information about who purchased it. Completely
None
none.
as of yet. Just that it was handled through contact with Waterdeep, and that word came down that it had been purchased. We reported that it had been seized as part of the smuggling ring being closed down and then being kind of auctioned off afterwards. Is typical what happens on these types of materials.
So you mentioned the word delicate. Now,
Yes, if if the lizard folk have set up a new kind of community so close, they're from all our sightings are indicating that they're roughly about 10 miles outside of town in the mire, and if it looks like they're arming themselves and whatnot, that could pose a threat to the town. So we are very concerned. It doesn't appear to be any open hostilities, but we don't know if they're marshaling a force to attack us, or does this signify that there's a change of power in the region. It's something that we really need to figure out what is the purpose and intent.
Has anybody seen any structures or camps?
There's an old rumor, and this is when Eldar kind of speaks up, because he's like, yes, there's some of the older texts talk of an old lizard folk kind of fortress that had been lost in the swamp and abandoned for many decades, and that recently, and it was just within the last few months or so, that all of a sudden that there's been activity there, given the larger numbers of sightings of lizard folk in the region.
So you sent out scouts to see this?
Sent out a few. Most didn't come back.
Huh?
Some of our information some of our information is kind of second and third hand from others. There are essentially too many questions and not enough answers. So we were hoping for a group of adventurers such as yourselves who would be willing to go and investigate and find out some more information. Find out what information you can about their intent, their size, their fortifications, whatnot, and whether or not this is something that needs to be concerned to us, or something that could be diplomatically addressed. Copperlocks is kind of grumbles a little bit on that.
well, if you're looking for diplomacy, I feel Karalee probably would be chief in that department. If you're looking for something else, well, we have Gorr.
I
Elander kind of nods like, yes, Gorr is quite good at dispatching problems.
We have sort of a yin yang, or a light dark, or a bifurcating system here. We have our sledgehammer, and then we have our feather quill, if you get my meaning.
I'm the quill.
Yes, indeed he is. He's so much a quill that he likes turkey so much that never mind. Could you point us to a location on a map of this old lizardman fortress?
Yes, and they pull out a couple of aides, pull out, and she hands you kind of a crude map. Says we got that from aboard the Sea Ghost from the smuggler,
Mm.
from the captain's quarters. Uh, it's kind of a rough map of the coast, in that roughly about 10 miles away, roundabout, there's an inlet in to the mire, and that is kind of roughly where they believe the lizard folk colony of gathering is appears to be at.
Um, would I know? Would I know if the captain of the City Watch is a kind of a recent installment? If he's new to the council, or if he's been there for a while? Or what do I know about the council other than their names and just get the introductions?
Um, the Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Gorr will assist.
Gorr can totally do that.
I just rolled a nat 20.
All right.
Oh, yes.
All
It's a
righty.
whole new day.
That does make things interesting. Alrighty. So. Alright. Here to the notes.
You can send me all your DM notes now.
No. Nice try, though. Nice try. Let's see.
Just go ahead and just zip that PDF file right on over.
Edna is the senior member on the council. She owns 3 large fishing ships. She's lived in Saltmarsh all her life and has been elected to the council 3 different times. She's rough and pragmatic, but she's also fairly fair. You notice that her face, her whole demeanor is someone who's been outside, been on the water, been exploring. So does not give the air or impression that she is someone spent all her time indoors. Primwater is well spoken, kind of dapper, neatly trimmed, fancy wardrobe. He owns kind of like he's pretty much been like the guy for shipping mercantile goods in and out. You know that his home is actually across from the council building, right there facing the docks. Elander, you see by his demeanor, he is a soldier through and through. Definitely been someone who's been in many battles. You can't really tell from the table they're sitting at, but every so often he kind of seems to kind of rub his leg, and every so often you hear kind of a tapping, like a wood on wood tap. Not really sure why, but he has been on the council for a while because he represents City Watch. As you heard, Ministrad's a relatively new member of the council because the Dwarven mine was established within a couple of years. So she's relatively new to the council, representing the interests of the dwarves and the people that had asked the dwarves to come and set up their mine. Anders is judging as per his looks, he is the youngest member. You've heard some rumors that basically he recently inherited his family's fishing fleet and shipping fleet because his parents died under mysterious circumstances, rather untimely. They're not quite sure what's going on, but their deaths was kind of unexpected, and he took over. He's very wet behind the ears, very kind of ambitious.
And Steve, is the mayor or the mire, is that right up to Saltmarsh, or is that?
Its northern border is on the southern border of the town. It's actually past the mine a little bit. As you kind of get into it, the kind of rough direction is it's probably within like 5 miles of the town. Some of the outer edges and whatever. You actually passed by parts of it on your way in, but it was kind of like the outer ring of it. So
Right.
like the whole southeastern side of the town. Once you go a few miles, is you're right into the mire, the outer edges of it. The mire itself stretches for a few hundred miles as it down the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that old fortress was roughly about 10 miles south of Saltmarsh.
I couldn't quite hear you, Titus. You want to say that again?
I said you said that the old abandoned fort, the lizardfolk fort, was about 10 miles south.
Yeah, roughly 10 miles south as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Well, I think your problem sounds like something we might be able to handle, my fine council people. I don't know if we need to convene for a bit to discuss.
If you need to.
Yeah.
Just one moment, please. We'll huddle up, and I'll explain what it is that we're trying to do to to Gorr. So we'll talk quietly, discuss. So what do you say? Shall we try a little diplomacy and then the other stuff if that doesn't work with these lizard folk?
I think that's a good idea. I don't know what they were doing on the pirate, on the smuggler ship, but I think we can find out something. After all, you are charming as always, Titus, and Gorr. Well, Gorr, I think that says it all.
I am Gorr. This is true.
Yes.
Now, I know these parts well, and or at least the outskirts, just because of the City Watch area. It would be interesting to find out why they approached and make people nervous. So if there's any way of proving that we're like approved to speak upon the council's behalf, like
Signet or something.
right, something that would mean something to those people, maybe that would go so far, or maybe some type of tides offerings or something to, barter with them, because they're simple folk. They're not, that for the most part, they don't really mean harm unless they're harmed on. They're mostly hunter-gatherer type people.
Yeah.
Unless you try to do something around them or hurt them, then all hell's going to break loose. At least that's my experience with dealing with them. You try to attack them, you're going to have a very bad day very quickly, because they come out of everywhere.
Good to know. I think along those same routes, maybe we need to see what kind of, besides peace offering or some kind of goodwill of the council, maybe we need to see what kind of equipment they can provide for this. And never mind the the coin.
Well, it may not even be coin because I don't know if the council and Mr. Fancy Pants up there would even care about throwing coin at them because he likes to sit on top of his coffers and snuff down at the working folk people anyway. That's why I don't like to talk around these people. Keep as
I-
quiet as possible.
I've recently come to understand that shiny coins are useful. So I think I'm speaking for the coin to be given to us for our services.
That's good.
Yeah,
If you don't want any of those, you can give them to me.
yeah.
I like that. That's
I
a good
think
idea.
so. I
But
think so.
for these people out there, they're trying to survive. So if we can get something to negotiate and make everyone happy, otherwise, Gorr gets to kill.
And we know you like to do that.
I do. I do.
You're
It
good at it too.
I've been known to do a slang or two. That is known to happen.
Okay, I think we're agreeing.
And I must say, this has been a surprisingly enlightening conversation. So
There
let's-
was some good food that I think it may have helped me.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
should
wanna-
stay away from turkey though. I hear there's
Hmm?
something inside of it that makes it sleepy.
Yeah, it dances around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be one weird bird.
All right. Well, if we're through with this entirely, Titus is going to kind of break the huddle and walk
Go team.
step forward. Yeah, step forward toward the council and speaking directly to Edna. We'll say. We've discussed, and with some conditions, we would be willing to offer our services. The first condition, obviously, this comes at great peril to us to enter these lands, and we would expect some compensation for such services, as always.
That's totally understandable. We have set aside 700 gold if for the if you guys when you guys return, provided because the whole point of this is to gather information. We're not looking for a fight if we can avoid a fight. You can just gather information about the size, intent, and size and intent of this lizard folk colony that has sprung up, and come back. Then 700 gold will be your fee for such information.
Okay. Secondly, we would need some sort of symbol, a crest or a note, to show that we are acting on the authority of this council.
That shouldn't be hard. We can give kind of a letter of marque, I guess, a letter of intent. And she looks at the council, kind of nods. Primwater's like, I don't see how this is necessary, but okay.
Shut up, fancy boy.
That's why you're never invited to my parties.
Didn't want to go anyway.
Third,
Never mind him though. I mean, look at your dress. It's lovely. It's the perfect color for this time of year.
Yes,
I
thank
must
you. These
get
are the
your
latest styles from Waterdeep. I'm quite proud of them.
Waterdeep, you say? I must get your tailor someday. Unless
Yeah.
you want to keep him a secret from all your competitors. I assure you, I'm not a competitor.
Maybe something can be later. We'll see. We can see.
Excellent, excellent, but fabulous taste.
All right. Well, if we're done with this course of butter,
Yes.
Titus looks back over to Edna. Yes, a fee, some sort of symbol showing what it is that or that we represent this council. And has anyone had direct correspondence with the lizard folk, or is this all just mere second and third hand, as you said?
Unfortunately, it's all kind of second and third hand. We haven't had the closest we've had to any direct contact is just what we gleaned off of the sea ghost and the bodies that were recovered, and the sea elf had said that based on what the sea elf was saying and what we saw, it looks like the lizard folk are preparing for some type of battle, some type of offensive. We're not sure if that defensive is directed at us, or if it's a new threat. I mean, the lords and whatnot have gone to the great length to try and secure the high road, which, as you're aware, the high road is the main merchant traffic going from Waterdeep all the way up to Luskan. And you've heard rumors about there's construction on it right now to bring a to connect it via a lightning rail system, which is a new technology. And so any new threats to the security of the high road is of concern.
Now, for these lizard folk to be amassing weapons, they have to be getting them from somewhere. Any ideas?
Yes, it appears they were doing business with the smuggling group that Karalee and her companions previously had broken up.
Okay. So we should go into this with the expectation, or at least the anticipation, that if there is a desire to create a conflict, it might not just be one-sided.
And Elander kind of says this, if they are looking for a fight, we'll give them a fight. I'm confident that the City Watch can protect the town.
Who benefits from a war in this city? What about your
They all kind of look about at
Shipping.
each other. It's nobody here that we're aware of.
Well, you all own ships, do you not?
We do. Several of us own quite a few ships.
Some
Or
large
could-
enough to carry supplies. And you get paid for transporting those supplies, correct? Okay. So, I just want it to be understood that, not yourselves, of course, but that there might be someone here in Saltmarsh that has access to such vessels and would benefit from it. We'll gather this information, but I advise you all to look amongst your own citizens to see if we might still have that problem with smuggling.
That's a fair assessment of the situation. We can do our best to kind of take a look to see if there's anyone who might want to push for some type of conflict.
Very well. Any other information you need to provide to us at this time?
Oh, don't forget to see about if they can provide us any ways or means of getting to the fortress, or other equipment that we may need for the mire. Is it best to access it by the sea, or can there be a longboat or a keelboat or something that will
We
take us
can
there?
provide you with if you wish to go by sea, there is a keelboat. We could provide you with a keelboat and a crew that will take you as close as they can. Or you can traverse by land.
What are the dangers of going by sea? By land, I think it's the swamp, of course.
Well, the
And-
keelboat won't go into the crew won't go into the mire. They'll put you right on the edge of the mire. You're still going to have to traverse in on foot.
But is there a danger by taking keelboat? Like, ocean denizens?
No, there's always dangers traveling. There's always dangers no matter how you travel. Although
Yeah.
it would probably be a bit faster if you went by sea as opposed to traversing through the mire.
Hmm.
But you still have to traverse into the mire.
Of course. Okay. Any other equipment that you might be able to provide us, or
What other equipment would you need?
healing
Hey,
potions, perhaps?
hey,
Yeah. Or-
Captain. Had a question for you.
What is it, Gorr?
Let's say these people, lizard folk. Let's just say they're getting closer to the city because they need access to more supplies. In an act of good faith and to try to quell things before it gets out of hand, would the city watch or the council be willing to give us some basic necessities as an act of good faith on the council's behalf,
Hmm.
just to butter them up to start negotiations if we are to go in just to start a conversation without fighting? Because I'll be the first one to go in with the battle axe raring. But if you guys don't want to be in a constant state of fighting, because there's a whole lot more of them than there is of Gorr. And that's your guys' fault for not making more of me. Not my fault. But that's what I'm thinking, is if you guys can provide some rations,
Very good.
some things that is known to be of worth to them that we could trade, and to start just basic needed necessities to start talks with them and to open up the door.
Yes. What would be
He
an
sits
interest?
there. He listens to your question and nodding at several points, and then looks over to Edna, Edda, and Edda kind of does a nod and goes, "I think that is a very pragmatic way of approaching the situation. We would need to know what they need. So if you want to, we could provide some things that they might need, provided we know that they're not going to be a threat to us.
Well,
So yes, we could do something to that effect.
Peace bundle, as it were.
so to start the conversation to find out what they truly need, what I'm saying is just a starting off, just like basic food rations, maybe some bed bundles, just basic things that any human being would need to have. And then later on, if there's more complex things that they require, then more advanced negotiations of give and take can take place. Otherwise, I'll get mad and frustrated and just start hacking at the closest person who I don't know their first name.
That's fair.
And Fancy Pants, you're glad I know your name.
Mhm.
He tries his best not to react to that.
I know you
comment.
peed a little bit. I know you peed a little bit.
He looks over at the captain. The captain kind of puts his hand up and goes, "All right, we can provide some basic rations, ration packs, and some blankets and stuff."
What a
for
fun
for them. If
potion.
this is a colony, they might have non-combatants that could use some more of those things.
Okay.
Any community would need some of those.
Right.
We can provide some.
That just a starting, just to walk over there. Just if we're trying to say that we don't mean anything and we're there to represent the council, then it's not just words that we're trying to go over there with while we're with armament and while we're with, we're just there with just words and steel and good
Totally can
intentions.
understand that. That's a worthwhile that's a very good way to go about it. We can help you out with some of that.
Gorr's trying to grow.
What of any healing potions or scrolls or anything that can help us in case we find ourselves injured in the mire?
We can probably provide you with some healing potions if you need some of those things.
That would be good.
And provide you with 6 healing potions.
I think that is an excellent idea.
Yep.
I'd say the last thing to do would be get our travel preparations in order, and then if we're traveling by sea, then I'd say we'll meet the crew out at the docks.
We will get those supplies out to the keelboat, and it should be ready within a few hours. And if
Very
there's
well.
no other business, I wish you well on your travels. And with
Many
that,
thanks.
you kind of get the sense the meeting is broken up. People are standing up. You notice the captain stands up, and as he walks, he has kind of a limp. And as he rounds the table, you see the bottom half of one of his legs has been replaced with a intricately carved kind of prosthetic leg. You see a couple other people talk. You notice that you notice that Anders, shortly after he gets up, there's an individual who walks over to him, and it kind of talks in his ear a little bit, and he nods, and the two of them kind of have a kind of a subtle conversation as they start to make their way toward the front.
Can I try to read their thoughts? Using
Yep.
a careful spell so nobody will see me do that. And that's one of the
Who are you targeting?
Anders, the young fella.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, while Anders is being talked to by this other guy, I want to get a kind of good look at him, not like just kind of passing glance. I don't want to make it obvious that I'm checking, trying to get a feel for him, but just try to get a sense. Is this an older guy, like an advisor figure?
Yeah, he looks a little bit older than he's definitely older than Anders, and he looks. Give me an insight check on his body language. Then, what's your spell? What was the DC for the mind read again?
That would be 15 wisdom.
Okay. All right. So when you reach out to Anders' thoughts, it's kind of a basic kind of. He has some thoughts on why, on what's going on, and the concern, and fearful of any concern. He's somewhat fearful of what could impact his recently inherited holdings, and somewhat trying to figure. But his mind is still kind of preoccupied with his parents' death, and now with the information he was just told, he's also trying to focus in on some of the new shipments that are just coming in, and that type of information.
Okay. I think. Oops, that's the wrong one. Don't want to do that. Oops. I think that I can shift my attention to another creature's thoughts and attempt to probe deeper into the original target. So
Right,
if I shift the thoughts to say the advisor, I would have to roll. They would have to roll a DC 15 Wisdom again.
okay.
And
Titus, which one are you wanting to do, Nin?
I think I will actually go deeper into Anders' mind.
What are you trying to learn?
I'm trying to learn what he thinks about his parents' untimely demise. And they have to make another Wisdom 15 saving throw or spell.
All right. And you're trying to. The question was his thoughts on his parents' death.
Yeah. What is he really thinking about that? Is he feeling guilty? Is he just upset?
He's perplexed, but he's also he's not understanding how they died, because they were in pretty good health, and it just seems kind of odd that they just the circumstances of which they died, because they were in good health, they weren't ill, they weren't sick, they weren't injured, they just somehow mysteriously died one night.
So nothing like guilt over having them killed, or
no, there's no. He feels guilty that he feels guilty that he slight bit of guilt that he inherited their fishing ships and their holdings, because he doesn't feel he's ready for it, the responsibility, but no guilt in any criminal sense.
Okay, that's it. I end my probe.
All right, Titus, what'd you get on your insight?
16.
The advisor, his body language is that of kind of like an advisor, or maybe like a butler.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind of measured, and observing, and kind of reassuring.
So he's well dressed.
Yeah, he's well dressed. He's put together. He's very observant. He's advising. It's very much the role of a butler type of presence in helping steer Anders where he needs to focus his attention.
I'd like to speak to Anders whenever he comes up front before we leave.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk to Fancy Pants a little bit, but make sure to take into account that I'm sweating purple slime a little bit.
Okay.
So it's shiny on my face and neck and all that kind of thing.
All right. So Anders and his butler are making their way. They've made their way around the tables and are starting to make their way across the room to the exit. So Titus, if you want to intercept, you can intercept.
I'll just kind of walk up towards them as they're heading this way, and we'll say, "Well met, gentlemen. As I've mentioned, I'm Titus. It's good to meet you both."
It's good to meet you. How you doing? He's
Ah,
kind of had the Anders has kind of got this young, inexperienced thing. He's kind of a toothy smile.
yes. Well, I'm doing all right. Getting a little bit settled into this nice little town of yours. We will be leaving it shortly. I'm certain of that. But
Yeah,
enjoying it while we're here.
it's a nice. It is a nice town. I grew up here all my life. I mean, if it wasn't for, and then of course, my recent unfortunate unfortunateness. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good. Hopefully, you guys are gonna find some good some information, and hopefully, we're not gonna have any conflict. I don't think I'm ready for that.
I'm going to telepathically talk to Titus and just say, the boy is clean. And that's it.
Okay. And Titus looks at Anders and says, I truly am sorry to hear about your parents. Unfortunately, I share in that. I've lost my parents as well, and was granted a responsibility that I would take up in their stead. Not as lofty of a responsibility as you have with the fishing vessels that you maintain, but still I have my own service that I provide.
Yeah, if it
And
wasn't for Scarin here, I'd probably be totally lost. And he kind of motions to the individual to the butler next to him, who's kind of standing there, and very tall, lean, short silver hair. He doesn't seem to talk much and kind of sits there very stoically. But he nods at the compliment and goes, "Well, Master Solmore here has a lot of responsibility, so I'm just trying to do the best I can, just like I did the best I could for his parents."
and not that, of course, this is part of our task. It's not part of our task, but I do want to let you both know that if I happen upon any information related to your parents' demise, I'll be sure to pass that along and do all I can to help you.
It's very weird. They went to bed and everything was fine, and then the next morning they didn't get up. But unfortunately, I have to do them proud by keeping the business going. I just don't want any. If we have to this business with the lizard folk, I just don't want to deal with. I don't think we should deal with fighting. I mean, it's just too much death already, and at that, Scarin kind of nudges us like, "Come, we do have business to attend to," and he kind of greets you. He kind of gives you a nod to Titus, and it's like, "Well, your efforts are appreciated, sir."
Yes.
Kind of ushers as Anders is trying to hold himself together and compose himself and try to he's trying to do his best to give the good impression of how he should act, and Scarin kind of ushers him out the door.
Can I get any type of sense from Scarin about did he elicit any response with body language or his facial expression or tone of voice when I mentioned about finding out what happened to his parents, digging into this, or trying to get information?
Go ahead and roll an insight on that.
Okay.
All right. And
I'll assist since I was right there next to you, because I was just getting ready to make fun of his name.
Okay. My first roll was a 19. Is that high enough? Or do you want me to roll again?
yeah, if you want to, you can. I mean, so far,
All right.
19's on the top.
Dirty 20.
Whoa.
20, nice.
There is truly a new error happening.
Let's not talk
When you
about that.
when you mention the if you're going to keep your ear open for any word on what happened, you almost imperceptibly, Scarin's attention focused entirely on you. The eyes ever so slightly narrowed.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
And when you get done staring him down, Gorr just kind of leans over to Titus. Scarin. Stupid name.
All right. Nin, you approach Primwater as he is there talking with Edda about some of the about the recent meeting and some other business. He's talking about another party he's got planned, and hoping that she'll be there as you be there to kind of partake in the festivities. Sounds like the party this time is, hey, we're gonna get some information on lizard folk, so let's have a soiree.
All right, okay. I'm going to wait for those two to finish speaking, respectfully stay my distance a little bit. And
It
I'm
goes
going
on
to,
for a few minutes, and then Edda kind of, well, I'll see what we can do for tonight. You have a good day. And she excuses herself away to Primwater is there, and he turns and he sees you and is like,
Lord Primwater, is that how I should address you?
I'm not a lord, but you can just call me. You can just call me Primwater. What can I do for you?
Mr. Primwater, I believe you carry yourself in the ways of lordships and nobles. That is why I decided to approach you as such. No, I must know about your tailor. Do you have a card?
I'm afraid I don't. I just the stuff the fabrics the stuff comes in, and if it doesn't fit, I send it back. It's it's just very
so hard to find good help these days. That's the thing.
sometimes, but it's all good. It's all in the knowing who you know, and I could totally put you in the right direction. The merchants guilds over in Waterdeep are quite respectable.
Excellent. Thank you. I was wondering if you might put me in touch with any of the local intelligentsia of the area. I'm a fast studier of books and knowledge and can even do a bit of magic, and I'll use Mage Hand to bring him a glass of water. I thought you might be a little thirsty after such a long debate.
That wasn't much of a debate. I mean, the city's concerned about a potential threat, and which is bad for business.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after this nasty business with the smuggling ring. It's hard to believe that anyone would steal goods just to earn a profit somewhere else. It's quite unfortunate.
Yes, indeed. That is quite the unfortunate case. I'm just shocked that two of the sailors from the Sea Ghost found their end in the jail.
Yeah, that is
With
quite
that,
unusual. Not sure how it happened, but obviously, if you're a criminal, you face a certain end at some point.
yes. Who is in charge of those jail cells?
Well, that would be the city watch, of course. And he kind of looks over at the captain who's sitting there and talking with Copperlocks.
Uh-huh. Well, I just want you to know that if there are anything that you need to check out, I can possibly help you, or we can possibly help you in finding out information. And I give him a wink and say, but I really do love your dress. I must see those tailors when I'm down in Waterdeep. I hope you have a good day, Mr. Primrose.
Yes. Well, I hope you have a good day as well.
Very good. And I'll leave.
He goes and he walks out the door as well. All that's left in the council. Shortly, the captain and Copperlocks continue converse as they're stepping out of the council room. It's where it's just you guys. You guys are the only ones left in there.
I think we better gather our things and prepare to head down to the docks. We do have a little time, perhaps enough time for a good lunch. Sound good to you, Gorr?
First lunch, yes.
Yes. I'd like to see if they have turkey on the menu.
Do you really want to fly today, Magic Man?
Always want to fly. It's one of my goals in life. At least I think it's a goal in my life. Well, it is now.
Well, as you guys step out, there's the snapping line next door. As you go in, greeted and sit down to lunch. And while you're having lunch, we will take our mid-session break.
Hello, Miss Hannah.
Thank you, everyone, for watching us so far. Stay tuned. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. Gonna get up, stretch, refill our drinks. I suggest you do the same. And when we come back, we will see what happens next. See y'all in a few.
Inspired by Sirenscape Online Player's massive sound library, and weave your tabletop legends by building custom sound sets that bring your immersive world to life. Simply download the app to access the entire Sirenscape archive anytime you need epic sounds. The online player works perfectly alongside any virtual tabletop to bring your players together no matter where they are in the world. Broadcast your custom sound sets in real time with flawless audio quality to give them a game they'll never forget. Get the Sirenscape Online Player today at Sirenscape.com.
And we're back. Alrighty, good break, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Okay. So you guys have had lunch over at the Snapping Line. You have kind of a couple hours to kind of kill while the ship is being while the keel boat is being prepared to crew and the supplies are being loaded that you had to discussed with the council. Is there anything you wish to do in town before heading off to the?
I want to tell Hannah that the octopus tentacle was delicious, and it was kind of cold to the touch, yet rough on the tongue. Perfect combination of what I needed. Thank you very much, Miss Hannah.
Oh, glad you enjoyed it. Hope it tasted good.
Mm-hmm. I may be back for more, but I have a little left.
Okay.
Keep on pickling.
Yeah, we do. Every so often we get a good batch in.
Go ahead, Gorr.
No, you go first. That's fine.
Do I know where Anders Solmore's business is located on the docks?
You can find out. Take a look.
Oh,
Mhm.
First of all, did you find anything out, Titus, from talking to Anders? When I looked into his mind, he was clear of conscience.
I feel that this conversation probably should take place elsewhere.
Hmm.
But Anders seemed a nice enough fellow, and he's got a similar plight as I do. I've lost both my parents. We share that, and well, there's more to be found out with that young one, I believe.
One of his retainer, his butler.
Again, nice enough fellow, very proper.
His name's Scarin.
Yes,
That's a stupid name.
Yes. Well, true as that may be, I'd like to maybe find out a little bit more about old Scarin.
Yes, I think I might be invited to Mr. Primwater's place yet before this is all done. Which
What
could
do you-
be interesting.
Why do you want to go to Fancy Pants' house?
Oh, I don't know. I think it might prove valuable information somewhere. But then again, this is valuable information too, and I hold up the log saying, look at how beautiful these patterns are. And the wormholes, you see how they writhe and twist? The worms must have been insatiable during this when this lord was growing up. And see how it was cut down here? And the slices, the way the grain is. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you think so, Gorr?
I just started throwing food at him.
Yeah.
Is that interesting enough for you?
I think that'll do fine. Thank you. You think you can get one in my mouth?
I just take a whole plate of food and just huck all of it. Not the plate, just a whole huck of food in my hand and just hurl. Did some of that go in?
Go ahead and roll a. Go ahead and roll an improvise.
Improvise?
Yeah, improvised weapons basically just strength. D20 plus your strength modifier.
$22.
22.
Yeah, you do that, and soon Nin is covered in food.
Did some of that go in your mouth?
A little bit. This little bit here, this fish stick, I'm going to keep this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep this little bit of seaweed salad.
Yeah.
And if I put the seaweed salad on the fish stick, it looks like somebody with wacky hair, don't you think?
I'll give you some more if you want more. I mean, I got I have a half a table of food.
Well, excuse my friend, Miss Hannah, but we had a little bit of a show and tell, as we might call it. And I prestidigitate the whole mess up. Don't want to mean to put you out. You know, this is my favorite restaurant.
Kind of shakes her head. Normally food fights are late at night, but let's try to be a little bit civil.
Indeed, madam.
You like me still, Hannah, don't you?
Yes.
She doesn't. She really doesn't.
Here, come here, Gorr. And I look, and then the wood grain in the table.
I swear to God, I'll throw a table at you.
Titus, you find out that the Saltmarsh estate is a little bit further. Is not too far away. You kind of get a general direction where it is. Do you wait for the rest of them, or do you try to sneak out and go investigate on your own?
I'll wait for the rest of them.
Hey, Titus. What are you doing outside? You ready to go? I'm ready to go. I don't know if you're ready to go. Are you ready to go?
Yes, well, there's a little less food excitement out here, but maybe something for our quest. If you all would join me if you're finished.
Titus, do you want any? I can give you some from here.
I'm good. I'm still full from that breakfast that I scarfed down and had a little bit of a snack. So,
do you remember? Did I eat breakfast?
You were playing with mud. I don't know. Did you eat the mud? I don't know if you ate anything else.
Why would I eat mud, Titus? That's just crazy.
There are a lot of things that I wonder about, but that's a conversation for later.
All right. Yeah, I don't eat much anyway, so that little bit of fish was just fine for me. Perfect.
Yes, and you also have the carrots. You were very proud to show me earlier.
Yes. I have these. You don't have to eat any mushy carrots now if you want to be able to see in the dark. You just have to hold on to these, and I'll set the spell up just like that. You think that's better, right?
Whatever you say.
Yeah, I think that's right. And besides, dried carrots are lighter than wet carrots anyway. It's the whole water, in the vegetable. And
I'm walking.
How much is the lunch for?
She's the normal meal would be 5 silver, but considering you're throwing it, she charges you 7 for the extra cleanup.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm. How much would my meal be? Like 1 silver?
2 the meals are roughly 5 silver, regardless of the quantity. It's just the fact that he was doing a food fight. She charges extra to clean up.
All right.
All right, so I'll be making my way towards Solmore's estates.
Mm-hmm. You travel down the main path, and then there's it's kind of a side path that leads off to a group of several buildings. It's kind of on the back, behind it. as you come around the path and look, you see a grouping of several buildings together. Across the street, across the path is a large kind of field, farmland. But you look to, and which is kind of in line with your directions. You step up to this collection of buildings into a kind of fairly modest complex. There's a large manor house and then several smaller buildings. One of them looks like it's kind of a warehouse type structure. There's a few guards kind of standing there as you walk up. They greet you. It's like, and they kind of give you a nod, figuring you're just there like anybody else there for business. But they do watch you as you step through. They're not dressed like the City Watch.
More like a private guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know any of these guys, Gorr?
No.
Are they armed more fiercely than the City Watch, or are they about the same?
Their armaments look a little bit different. Like the City Watch kind of has a consistency of what they carry. These guys all kind of vary. Gorr, with your background, you recognize mercenaries when you see them. These guys, they look like they're a private mercenary group.
I'm going to kind of linger behind and just kind of case the joint, as it were. Look around for entrances and exits and anything weird around.
Oh yeah, you see windows and doors. You see the different buildings, people shuffling back and forth. The one that looks like kind of like a warehouse area. It's kind of like got the big kind of barn door type deal with crates and stuff stacked inside. There's a couple of the smaller ones you see people coming and going from. You kind of get a sense that that's where the servants' quarters are at. And then there's another building with some people in and out. They look like, again, another kind of like housing area. And then there's the big kind of manor house. It seems to be the focal point.
Mhm.
And that's where you watch your kind of where you and y'all are kind of standing there surveying this whole kind of the hustle and bustle of what's going on as far as just kind of like daily activity.
Mhm.
Carts being loaded with stuff and unloaded in and out.
Is the guards that are there as we approach, are they very dismissive of us, or are they kind of watching?
They're watching, but no more. They're watching you because they're not quite. You don't look like the normal.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you can tell, you don't look like the normal people who would come here to conduct business
Right.
here on the compound. So they're kind of watching, and you see there are a couple other kind of roving groups, all kind of back and forth, all kind of wandering around.
Is there one guard in particular that looks like he's a little bit more higher rank than the others? I mean, I know they don't wear uniforms, but is there someone that kind of gives the sense of, hey, I'm in charge?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
I won't be able to use my advantage because that would just be weird.
Yeah, it would. Just a little bit.
So a solid 5.
It's kind of hard to tell.
Okay.
What
I
was
will-
he investigating?
What's that?
What did you investigate?
I'm trying to get a sense of who's in charge
Oh.
of the guards. I'm just going to walk up to the first one that I see
All right.
and introduce myself. Say, I'm Titus, Lightbringer. I met Anders and Scarin this morning at the council meeting. You've got quite an interesting job here.
Yeah, it pays well.
Have you been working with the Solmore family for long?
Few months.
Oh, only that recently. Is this related to around the same time as Anders' parents' departure?
Shortly after, I guess. I came to relieve a couple of guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their contracts are up. New opening. Good money.
Oh, okay. So steady rotation of guys that come in and out of here.
Yeah, I mean the contract's solid.
Okay. So is there anyone that's been here for a long time?
Oh, Scareth, the guy who we all kind of answer. We all kind of he kind of gives us our instructions, whatnot. He kind of handles some of the day-to-day detail.
Yeah, he seemed to be quite involved advising the young Solmore.
Well, I mean, the kid ain't bled anybody yet, so he's still got stuff to learn.
That's your understanding of what learning is you bleed somebody.
Well, yeah, you don't know what you're made of until you get into a fight. Kid don't look like he's gotten into a fight yet.
He
Well,
doesn't know how to sneeze yet. Sorry.
He kind of nods at Gorr's comment.
So mostly fresh guards like yourself, aside from Scareth, who's been here at Anders' side, I take it.
Oh yeah, I mean, he keeps an eye. He helps the kid kind of make sure he doesn't get screwed over on business deals. But I mean, that's just what I've heard. There's a few guys who've been here a while.
No, I really am interested. It's quite a feat for a young man to be taking over a business like this, and dangerous part of the world that you all are working in now.
I mean, this is probably one of the better jobs I've done.
Well, how so?
Well, every so often having to getting hired to escort merchants going up to Luskin. That place is just total crazy ever since those captains took over. And then there's, occasional stuff going down south. Desert sucks. Then and then, like taking care of brawls and places like the Yawning Portal, which there's always a brawl. This one, just gotta watch, make sure nobody steals anything. Pretty easy comparatively.
Oh, very interesting. So you're more or less a deterrent for anybody that wants to cause trouble. You don't actually go out seek it for yourself, then.
Oh no, man! You don't. Anybody going to look for a fight? Well, there's got to find one. I'd rather be the one they find than the one looking.
Yeah, fair
Kind
enough.
of looks over Gorr. Am I right, big guy?
What? Who said that? Oh, hey, little guy. What'd you say?
Said, wouldn't it be better to be the one being found for a fight instead of the one looking for the fight?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right, Magic Man?
That's right. Do they happen to have, and I have my hood over my face for most, do they happen to have any need for a magic purveyor in the guard or in the house?
Have to talk it up with Scareth. He's the one who handles staffing.
Scareth, yeah. Scareth. I think we've met the fellow before. Where is his offices located?
You typically find him in the main house.
In the main house, yes. And
He kind of points over to the main. He points in the direction of where the main house is.
do I see anything like guards or?
Oh yeah, there are guards hanging out by the doors. There are roving patrols while others are working and offloading goods and loading goods, as well as the regular kind of staff back and forth. with the main house. I mean, it's a fairly consistent traffic as far as people doing things. So you kind of get the sense that everybody's kind of on task.
Yeah. Do you know if Mr. Scarrett is a user of the magical arts?
I haven't asked.
Anything unusual happen in this manor house that can't be explained?
No. Seems pretty quiet.
Very good. That's what I like to hear. Okay. Is Mr. Scarrett in at this time?
Yeah, he and Anders came back not too long ago. Big council meeting they had to go and attend.
Hmm.
They've been they're in the main house right now.
That's good to know. Do we want to see him anywhere?
How much time do we have before we need to be back at the docks?
You've got a good hour or so.
Maybe just a quick visit.
The purpose of us doing this overall, besides poking the hornet's nest, which, as I said before, Gorr is totally for. I mean, I would do some serious bowling with this knucklehead's skull. I mean, let's just be honest about that. That'd be fun for Gorr, but the end game for this little side step is to find out about Funny Name's purpose.
Is this in character or out of character?
Out of character.
Out of character, yeah.
Yeah.
My thought was to glean some kind of superficial information about the general compound, about how, like, essentially what we've done, but not really intending to go into it.
Okay.
But if I could possibly establish a connection or a contact that's within the guard, that would be perfect. Not likely, but
right.
At least I would have a point that I could, we'd be able to segue back in and maybe have a little easier way of getting onto the compound at a later date.
All right.
You want a tour of the compound?
No, not I would not, or Titus would not at this point, but if you all are persistent and really want to.
Gorr will ask the guard, where's the captain that does the scheduling and the routes outside of the Scareth?
No,
That's actually your contract lead for your contracting company. That's on site. Is there anyone like that?
Is like Scareth is the one that kind of tells us what our shifts are and where our postings are.
Okay. Yeah. I work for the City Watch, and there's like a whole rank and file. So there's like the captain of the watch, and there's whole lines. It's just not big boss man and then underlings all underneath. So that's what I was trying to get across. Is who's above you?
Yeah. There's a couple of guys that we tend to talk to on those things, and they're probably over in the worker's house, and he kind of points to a smaller building off to the side. So that's where we all bunk up.
Would it be cool if we went to go talk to them just because, we know that there was a safety concern and we're asked to do some work for the city council, just wanted to get a gauge for the young boy and the company and just to try to report back to them on what we're finding. And, just is there like a name of someone that we could say, hey, this person that we talked to said to talk to you, whatever your name is, and give us information and we'll go about our way. Gorr, only pawn in game of life.
Well, my name is Tom. Drawing to no names, but you're probably gonna want to talk to Ekaton.
Okay. Well, thanks,
Ekaton,
Tom.
you can't miss Ekaton. Big guy, black scales. Can't miss him.
Well, we'll try not to. Thanks, Tom. And see you later.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
And
Yeah.
I just go walking off, like not even talking with anyone else. I just start walking off. Gorr just starts walking off towards the small house, where he pointed where Ekaton is. Because, Gorr doesn't think of, being a leader or a follower. He just goes.
That's fair. All right, so you walk over to the main house, to the side house, kind of step in and kind of look about, and it's got a kind of entryway, and then there's some hallways and whatnot, and if you knowing you'd probably walk in and probably like call out for Ekaton, and you hear kind of a rough gruff voice, like, yeah. And you see a figure kind of poke his head around the doorway, and you see the nostrils and the face of a dragonborn, black scaled dragonborn. As you kind of look at it, it's like, what you want, Tiny?
Finally, someone I can respect and look up to. Gosh. We are here as a part of an investigation for the city council, and my friends here just wanted to talk to you about questions that they had. If you could help them, great. Guys.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
And I just grab them and just shove them in front of me, in front of this intimidating black scaled dragonborn, and push him in front of me.
Kind of looks down a little, looks down and goes,
Hello.
investigating what?
Well.
Are you Mr. Eckington?
Yeah. What are you?
Oh, I'm just a curious person wanting to know what I can about the business of Mr. Anders.
Oh, you don't want to talk to me. You want to talk to Mr. Anders.
Ah, okay. Well, perhaps my friend Titus here would be interested in learning about security at the fight.
Yeah, good day, sir. I'm Titus Lightbearer, Paladin, traveler with this unlikely crew.
Yeah.
We
And?
are we're working for the council and talking about some security issues south of the city and some concerns for safety for this city that I'm sure you're quite fond of. And without getting too long-winded about it, I just wanted to make your acquaintance and
Okay. You made it. What do you
and
want?
and ask if you've noticed anything strange around the premises or anywhere in Saltmarsh that might be of assistance to us in our investigation. We are specifically interested in potential smuggling, potential crimes of that sort, of thievery, of warmongering, and passing of weapons, and of course of our scaled friends down south, the lizardfolk.
Okay.
Do you have any information?
Huh? Pretty quiet here. Anybody who steals here doesn't steal for long.
I'm quite sure of that.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been here?
About a year or so.
So you would have known the elder members of the Solmore family
Yeah.
before their departure.
Yeah, I was hired on by shortly after. I was hired on by Scarith. Then, yeah, they died.
What I mean, surely someone as intimidating as you would have deterred any would-be assailants. Do you know how it was that they died?
They went to bed. They didn't get up.
Uh,
Nobody here.
you do you suspect foul play?
Rich people always got enemies while they're rich.
Perhaps it was something they ate or drank.
Amen.
Yeah,
Could be.
I like this guy. He's smart.
he seems direct. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did I show you my pocket of carrots?
I don't care
Don't-
for carrots.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, you're right. They're not for everybody, but they're good for eyesight, I hear.
We wanted information. You don't have any.
No.
That's bad.
Well,
Being the leader of a group of mercenaries of your stature, monitoring this area, you would think you would know something.
kind of sits there and folds his arms on or across his chest. And like, just because you're city watch doesn't mean I need to tell you anything.
Didn't say I was City Watch. I said I was with the council, and we just wanted to ask questions.
Well, if the council wants to ask questions, they talk to Sanders. Sanders and Scareth tell them what they want to know. My job's not to talk about what happens here. My job is to make sure unwanted guests don't stay long.
Well,
My job is to make sure that the carts are loaded and that there's no trouble. Are you going to be trouble?
no.
No, sir. I'm sure you do your job very well. We just wanted to see what was happening on this side of town. Make sure everything was copacetic. Do you have any areas where you are worried about security?
No?
All right. Well, that's very good then. I think. Do we have any more questions for Mr. Eckington?
Well, I would
Wow.
just say, as we are taking up entirely too much of your time, that if you should find anything or remember anything, we'll be back in town. Hopefully, not too long from now, and yeah, we'll be around, and perhaps we'll look you up. Where are you staying? Or where do you frequent outside of your work hours?
I stay here on the compound.
Okay, well then we know exactly where to find you.
Yeah?
Well, one last question. Were there any unwanted guests the last night that you saw the Soulmore parents?
No?
Oh, well, fair enough. You say it, I believe it. I won't take any more of your time, sir, and wish you well. And by the way, Tom does a fantastic job.
Does he now?
Yes.
You shouldn't have done that. Tom's gonna die. Bye, Tom. Get an F in chat for Tom. Bye, Dragon Dude.
Eckington.
Yeah.
All right.
Gorr just turns around, just leaves. Like, bangs open the door, bangs open whatever other doors are in the way, and just barely even opens them and just kicks. Because he knows that the guy was clearly lying, clearly holding back stuff, and just mad that he wasn't able to discern anything, but know that he was just full of crap.
Yeah, Titus follows, gingerly opening and closing the doors behind him.
And then goes up to Mr. Eckington and says, "Delightful to meet you. You like the big guy, don't you?"
Yeah. Looks like he can looks like he can handle a fight. I can respect that.
Indeed. Well, have a lovely day, sir.
All right.
I'll as I kind of walk, behind Gorr leaving the compound, I'll lean over to Tom and tell him that yeah, well, I mentioned what a great job you were doing. Good luck and everything. Keep it up.
Tom kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at you as you guys pass through. Go ahead and give me perception checks too.
Roll high, come on. 5.
I got a 5 myself.
Come on.
Let me. Perception.
Yeah.
I got a 7.
We're not that perceptive, just we need Karalee in here.
So you guys walk out. Tom looks a little wary at you.
I say to Tom as I go past, you really shouldn't refer to your superiors so quickly. Have a nice day.
Whenever I walk past him, I just say, It was the little one. It wasn't me. I would run.
Hmm.
Just bolt. And just walk.
He looks awfully confused as you walk past.
And no context. Just saying that and just not even breaking stride.
Yeah,
Like,
he
no
just
breaking my
kind of
gait.
looks at you a little confused as you guys all leave the compound.
2 days later, we're going to see, like, parts of Tom.
So you make your way back around the docks, and there's a, and there's a, and kind of directed. There's a keelboat with a couple members of the city watch, standing by. It seems to be a modified keelboat with a couple extra sets of oars. Keelboats are kind of a flat bottom thing that just kind of open air, small little cabin. Small little spot for a sail, and it's like, you guys ready to go?
All set. Oh, by the way, Gorr, here are 2 potions of health that we got from the council.
Oh, cool.
All that stuff's aboard, so kind of points you out to it. You hand them the potions, and they kind of push off, and they start rowing for the swamp. Oh, wow. Anyways,
All the RP you had not expected, right?
that's the way D&D works, so it's all good. And the bad perception rolls. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
it's the way it works. You only know what you know. So a few hours pass, kind of on the as the keelboat kind of travels, takes you guys to kind of that rough location. So the weather's fairly decent, so you don't have to worry about like choppy seas or anything as they kind of go in. After about 3 hours, the keelboat kind of turns, and you come toward kind of the outer edge of the mire. There's a spot. As you come up on that. Go ahead and give me another round of perception checks as you guys are coming toward the outer edge of the mire.
You just like pain.
Good at this.
Uh-huh. Nope.
Crap.
9.
Screen went to the main screen. Hang on.
What'd you get, Nin?
Oh, I got a big whooping 4.
Ooh.
Of course, Nin is just sitting in the boat, playing with the water that gets in there with his control water cantrip. Just having a good old time.
Yeah, Titus is contemplating the final days of Tom.
What was it? Perception?
Yeah.
Another 7.
So as you guys come up, they're the guards who are helping man the boat. They kind of point out it's like there's a good spot to land there. Make sure there. There's a little promontory kind of area with a couple of what looks like a fairly well traveled path into the mire. Off to the side as well. One of the Karalee kind of points out that there's a looks like a possible little like sea cave that's partially submerged off on the side.
Is the sea cave big enough for like
It's not big
inland?
enough for the boat to go in. It's
Right. Not
if you were
not
gonna
for
go
keel. Not
if you were gonna go in, you'd have to swim in.
okay.
And then there's the path that they can come up to, let you guys disembark. That leads up, kind of up over a hill, and into kind of a low hill and into the mire itself.
Okay. So the sea cave would not be big enough for even like a rowboat or a small.
No, you'd have to swim it. You'd have to swim in.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember how to swim. I don't think. Do I know how to swim?
No, if you have if you don't have a swim speed, then it's just basically a strength check as you kind of go. Otherwise, you just kind of flail about in the water because everybody can inherently dog paddle.
Yes, I might be flailing, Titus, if we go in through the cave.
I'm wearing
This is my good
adamantine
armor.
armor, so
I'm not a strong swimmer.
Yeah, normally if you don't have a swim speed and trying to go through, it's kind of a strength check, and you're looking at like half movement speed to kind of travel through the water.
But we also have supplies that we would also need to carry as well. So
Yes.
that's also something that we would also have to lug about.
so how close does the keelboat get to the shore?
It can get right up at the shore's edge, and because the keelboat's got a very shallow draft, so it can get right up onto the land, right up at the
Okay.
land. But the guards tell you they're not disembarking; they're just gonna stand by unless they get into any kind of trouble. But they'll be there waiting for you.
Okay.
How many of them are there?
There's just two, enough to man the boat.
Alright.
Along the shore where we are going to disembark or get off the boat, is there any signs of foot traffic or any type of traffic?
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
All right. Nat 20.
Nice. Yes, you do see along one of the at the area that does appear to be quite a bit of foot traffic. So it's fairly well worn. You see a lot of tracks lead in up and up over the hill.
Okay.
Any way to tell what tracks they are? Or whose track?
The tracks, as you're getting up and as you get up and kind of look, they kind of look like they're bipedal, and probably something of probably a barefoot type of foot. So somebody's not wearing shoes or boots or anything. So it's probably some type of bipedal creature that has claws for feet.
Lizard folk, essentially.
I think that's our people.
Any drag marks?
Doesn't appear to be any.
Okay.
And are they all going over the hill, or are any diverging off on their paths?
The majority are leading up over the hill.
The pack of stores that they gave us, how heavy is that?
It's probably about 50 pounds worth of rations and blankets.
Okay.
Kind of a backpack.
All right. With my strength, I should be able to carry that without any problem.
Yeah.
Good, because I wasn't going to do it.
All right. So, seeing the trail leads over the hill, there are no trails to the sea cave, correct?
Not that you can see through the water.
Okay, but the sea cave, the only access to the cave is from the water.
Yes.
There's no way to traverse by land.
No.
Okay. All right.
Seems like only one way to go, but it
Yeah.
also seems like a good ambush.
Well, our intent is to go where they are. So I
True.
don't see that we have much of a choice. Do you all?
No.
All right. Then let's be on alert and see what's beyond this hill.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be quiet, and so I can hear, and detect any type of sounds of movement other than those that we're producing as we're going.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception.
Another nat 20.
Oh my god.
And I have a 17, believe it or not. So we are rocking the perception just now.
Oh, yeah. So, what you hear kind of the general ambiance of the swamp. You hear the buzzing of insects. You feel the heat of the weather inside the marsh area. Somewhere in the distance, you hear some croaking of some frogs, a splash. There's even a point where you hear kind of a guttural kind of thumping sound. Not quite sure where it is per se. Few birds. You don't hear any creatures that are you don't hear anything that sounds like it's like a creature that's a threat. In terms of like, you know, some kind of something that would be stalking you. Looking about, you do see several of the tracks, and there's a set of tracks that seems to be leading up into kind of a grassy area as you crest the hill. There's kind of a section that's got some brushes and some shrubs, and it looks like that's where a couple sets of tracks are leading toward.
Everybody walk slow and walk very still and quiet. They already know we're here. Just assume that we're already in their environment.
Guys, you think I should make something appear that would be tasty to them?
Nope.
Okay. No turkey like that.
I will yeet you into the water.
But the water's all the way back. Oh, never mind.
Yep.
We don't want them to see dinner and then immediately see us. I don't think that would be wise.
Okay.
So are you stealthing along that path into the brush?
Yep.
Not stealthing, but just calm, slow movement. So we're
Okay.
not trying to hide, but we're also not trying to act like we're ambushing.
Right.
Okay. So as you guys kind of move slowly, taking your time, you kind of feel parts as you kind of walk through that area. You do notice that your feet kind of sink in. You'll be about ankle deep, about some parts about midway, and you're kind of walking through that. So you get that as you're kind of stepping through the water, parts of water and mushy ground and muddy ground, and you get up. It dries out a little bit. You get to where the brush is, and with your perceptions earlier, you notice that there seems to be an entrance. There seems to be a little cave entrance. And you're kind of, as you kind of start to walk in, you notice that it's tall enough for you to step through. And shortly after a few feet in, you notice that there is a door. Looks like like made of kind of a wooden door with some banding on it. Appears to be shut.
This looks like it's too complex for a simple lizard folk. But in any case, I'm going to pull my leather strap and cast mage armor on myself.
Okay.
Titus, since I might break it, do you want to knock on the door?
I could just as easily break it, but I suppose I will. Tap tap tap.
You want me to use my mage hand to do it?
No. You'll blow it up.
No, it's just a little hand. No.
So, as I go to tap on the door, I'm also going to be kind of looking along the edges of the door to see if there's any type of mechanisms that don't appear that they should be there.
So you're looking for any type of lock or trap or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look for a trap too.
Go ahead, Titus, and roll an investigation. Nin, you can assist.
Or can I roll? And Titus says, because I have a +5 investigation.
Well, I'm not going to roll. I'll do the assist.
Okay.
Yeah, my rolls were bad.
Oh, that was just hanging on by the edge, by the virtual edge of 20. But I got a 2 instead.
Yeah.
A
5 for me.
far as you guys can tell, looking at it, there doesn't appear to be any traps. Doesn't really appear to be any kind of lock. Where it looks like you could kind of pull or push the door. It's a fairly large door. I mean,
I'm going to tap again and say, we don't mean any harm. We're here visiting on behalf of the Saltmarsh Council.
no response.
Is it okay for us to enter? Again, we mean no harm.
Again, no response.
Do you think they understand us?
Oh, they understand.
Our language, I mean.
They understand.
Because I can make us both understand.
What do you all think? Should we wait here or try to go in?
No. Walking in may not be such a good idea because you don't know what's on the other side of the door.
It's true.
I'm telling you guys, I can make us sound like lizard people. Or lizard men.
Yeah, and if they open the door and we're not lizard people and you made it sound that way, that's deception and not a good way of starting. See? You're already doing bad. You're one yeet away from going into the water.
Certainly you couldn't. Oh, never mind.
I could rage and throw you.
So shall we go by foot on my own feet to another entrance, perhaps?
Are there?
I knock on the door harder. Hey!
Still doesn't appear to be any response.
Are there any animals, beasts around here that I can see or that I would have passed in the last few minutes?
A little small little rodent type animals you would have seen kind of scurry through, not a kind of a direct line of sight on. Some birds and stuff.
Okay. I don't know what the intelligence of these creatures are. Probably very low. But is there a bird? No, I'm going to say is there a rodent nearby that I could see?
Roll an investigation.
All right.
Actually, roll a survival, not roll a survival.
Okay. Nat 20.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, you see something to look. You see an opossum, or actually no, a raccoon, kind of watching from not too far off.
I'm going to use my ability to speak with animals.
Okay.
And speak with this shifty-eyed raccoon who is way, way far away from where he ought to be at this point.
Okay, he might be a rabbit. Be careful.
All right.
And I am going to ask the raccoon if he would be so kind to give me information about this area that we're in and what's behind this door. What if he's seen any particular creatures that have come in and out of this place in the last day?
He sits there and kind of holds his hands and kind of, yeah. There's big things in there, big things with
What?
teeth.
Big things with teeth.
Yeah, things that eat me.
They lizard
Yeah.
folk.
Yeah,
Yes.
big lizards.
Were they carrying anything when they entered this place?
The last group that came out was carrying a big pig.
I understand that. Any crates, boxes?
Not recently. Not in a few months.
Oh, but they have been in a few months. They've been bringing in boxes.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
things.
those that come through, there's sometimes to carry stuff, big bundles. Been a while.
Do they carry them to this location or somewhere else in the Mar?
Well, that's the only way in.
Oh. Well, if this is the only way in, I would think it would be guarded. Is there no one who guards this place?
The guards aren't on the outside. The guards are on the inside. Maybe you're not loud enough. Maybe they just didn't hear you.
Oh. Well, I don't mean to be rude. I guess we could try louder.
You could louder or just walk in. They don't keep it locked.
It's true, but in practice, it's not very polite to just open doors and go into places when you are not invited.
Oh, you're big, so I mean, I wouldn't do it because I'm small. You're big. You could do it. He could do it. Points over at Gorr.
I just love the picture of this. Right.
Why did he just squeak at me and point at me? He looks like food.
It's no matter. It's no matter. It is fine. Sorry, Mr. Raccoon. What in the world are you doing out here anyway? Did you get lost?
No, I was looking for crayfish. He picks one up. They're really cool.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you for that.
Titus, can you ask him if he'll show me a crayfish? Or he'll help me get a crayfish?
I'm not sure there's anything you can do to help with this one, and I'm speaking to the animal in
Sure.
whatever dialect that is.
I was like tugging on your armor.
Yeah.
Hey,
can you any pointers for this one to help him find crayfish like that?
Look under rocks.
Very.
He
very
goes
good.
in. He starts cleaning the crayfish in the water. They're kind of sniffing at it, cleaning it again.
Well, a busy day, I'm sure you have. I'll let you get back to it. Thank you for your help.
Okay.
What do you say, Titus? What do you say?
Look under rocks.
In the rocks. Got it. Okay.
What did food say?
Food said, big scary things with teeth, lizard folk, come in and out of this place. This is the only place that you can enter. The only place in to their encampment. And there are no guards on the outside because they're all on the inside. And the door is never locked.
Gorr opens it.
Okay.
You go and you push the door in. You see a dark cavern with a little bit of light. About
Are you guys eating carrots?
Yeah,
you see a bit of light about 30 feet in.
Okay. Is the light 30 feet in, or is it casting 30 feet in from behind us?
The light there's not a whole lot of ambient light left because this is like at the end of toward the end of the late afternoon.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of light there, and that kind of goes in, but you see about 30 feet in, it looks like there's light spilling out from another room off to the right.
Okay.
So you see some of that light kind of spilling over.
Okay.
Does it look like torchlight or?
A little bit flickering like torchlight.
Okay. So maybe these creatures these lizard folk use torches just like we do. I might not have to give you any carrots. If that's okay with you.
So Gorr steps in. Who's next?
Titus will step in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll step in as well.
All right.
Turning around to wave at the raccoon if he's still looking.
By this point, the raccoon is kind of darted off. Is finished cleaning his crayfish and has moved on. So you see him. You don't
Smart
see him
raccoon.
And quick out of character note, I don't know if it was planned, but I could swear I'm hearing raccoons in Sirenscape, like in the background. Like I'm hearing the little chitter noise. I was like, "There's no way there's a raccoon on the soundtrack."
It is really surround sound. I don't even have it in my ears. It's good stuff.
Well, there is a wildlife thing for this particular sound set for Swampy Land, so it's completely plausible.
Yeah. Because
so you guys step in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I have dark vision anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't know what I see, or if we all see the same thing.
Well, as you step in, you see, in your vision, you look down. You see this hall. You look down this hallway, and that seems to be ending. And it seems to branch off to the left and right, and there's another path to the right.
Do I see any like guard alcoves or something like that in the main?
You see the hall. You see a room. You see light spilling over from a room onto the right, and as you look down the hallway, you see where it kind of splits off to the left and right, and it looks like there's another door. Slightly to the left. You can make out just like the barest little sliver of it, like you have to round a corner to see the door properly.
Okay, I'm going to tell everybody this. What I see. It looks like there's a chamber to the right that some light is spilling out.
Which Gorr and Titus can see as well because they see the light spilling around the corner.
Right. But beyond that, we go further and there's a left and right with another door. I don't know if
Guru-
there's anything spilling in that room that lights. I don't know. I can see, I can check if we want to, or are we going to go in?
Gorr lights up a torch.
Okay. So torch is 30 foot and 30 foot. All right. Okay. Do you light up? You have lit up a torch. Like I said, there's a door. There's a hallway to your right, and then continuing down. What do you get? Which direction do you want to turn?
Do we hear any sounds of any movement at this point?
Go ahead and roll a perception.
12.
I'm at 10. No matter.
I have 13.
You hear some sounds coming from the right. Kind of a low, kind of guttural language.
What language do lizard folk speak?
Is that undercommon or
What languages do you guys speak?
I have Draconic and Undercommon.
Yeah.
Common. Another language. And Elvish, but I can't really understand Elvish. I just recognize it right now.
Gorr?
common and giant?
Check Karalee's. Titus, you understand what's being said.
Ooh.
It's you understand it's a conversation. It's a group of voices to the right, discussing the latest stories that came out of the kitchen, and looking forward to when their shift changes.
Okay. What was the latest thing that came out of the kitchen? Was it the food they were talking about?
Yeah, a boar that was caught the night before.
Okay.
What
And-
language is he saying? Draconic?
So I will point out that there's intelligent life around the corner here, and that they're speaking about food, not about us. And I will pose the question, shall we announce ourselves before we go any further?
You should take the lead since you understand them and announce our group and want to be taken to their tribal leader.
Okay. So I will, in a very not alarming, but voice, just kind of announcing that we are here looking to meet the tribal leader and discuss relationships with Saltmarsh on behalf of the council.
So as you and the language is Draconic, so as you say that in Draconic, a group of lizard folk come around the corner from the right, spears in hand, and are staring at you. And that's where we'll end for this week's session. So
Very nice. Karalee's gonna have a lot to get caught up on whenever
Mhm.
comes back next
that's
week.
assuming Karalee hasn't been sneaking views while we've been sitting here doing this. So,
Well, he's already been caught in the chat once.
once or twice, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
where we'll end. You guys are in. You've been surrounded by you see a group of lizard folk come in, and now we will go from there for the next week's session. So thank you guys for spending your Saturday night with us again. Thank you everyone in the chat for hanging out with us. Hopefully it wasn't too terribly slow, but it was still enjoyable. A lot of different RP and engagements.
Yeah.
A reminder, tomorrow morning, 12 noon, here on YouTube is going to be Sunday with Scoob, working on minis and chatting with friends. All the good times. Thank you to Sirenscape for the background music and soundboards. Thank you to Stream Beats, as we're listening to right now, to close out our show. And of course, thank you to the moderators in the chat and all of you for spending your Saturday night. So, yeah, I think we're pretty much good there. So, everyone have a great weekend, a great week. We will see you next Saturday for another interesting adventure of Challenge Accepted inside the Lizard Folk colony. What could possibly go wrong?
Lots of things.
Fireball.
Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Good night. Thanks.